Welcome to this episode of The Marriage Creative. We are a happy family with one really big story, and we want to help you grow, strengthen, and rekindle your marriage.
Welcome back in to episode number 15 of the Marriage Creative Podcast. I am Caleb Nelson, and that is my wife,
Carla Nelson.
Carla Nelson. I just didn't like how you would just say your name.
Sorry. Well, you finally got your name right.
It's only taken 15 shows.
So,
Here we are. Last night, sitting around, I got a HDMI switcher and put it into our living room. We have one TV in the house, and sometimes we'll
on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose. And sometimes we'll put the laptop into the TV. Sometimes we'll run a DVD through into the TV, and we have to unplug the cables all the time. So I tried to solve that issue by getting this little switcher, and in doing so, I got the little Google Puck, or whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called now, but it's the Google streaming device that you can cast your phone to it. We don't have a smart TV, so we have to do these things. And so I was bragging on myself, showing everybody how the switcher thing worked, and you go from laptop to DVD to Google Puck, and stopped on the Google Puck, and it was just in, I don't know, slideshow mode from the pictures on my phone. Now, we've only had smartphones, I guess, back to like 14, so I don't have pictures on a smartphone of our kids until they're, pretty big. Or at least they feel big.
The older ones were preteen, whatever. Yeah.
But we were just looking at those pictures. We've got millions of pictures between our phones. We never look at them.
I do.
Not a lot.
Don't say we.
Well, I don't ever look at them.
I do.
I can't ever find what I'm looking for.
Well, let me say, I don't have Facebook and Instagram on my phone.
Okay.
So if I'm going to sit and idly do something, I will look back at pictures. I do that a lot.
Do you search my face or just everybody's?
Usually my kids, but
well, it's kind of my face.
Yeah.
Parts of my face are in there.
Face.
So anyway, we're sitting on the couch. We're kind of blasted like we are right now. And but we're in Carla's old bedroom at her mom's house that we don't live at, and no Google TV in here. But anyway, we were just kind of looking at some of the pictures, as they scroll through. Some of them were great, some of them were less than great, but
some of them are just plain out bad.
Yeah, but it takes you back. It's that moment in time that you catch. And for instance, a picture of Mary Caden when she was at the fundraiser that Hope did for you.
Yeah.
She hates that picture because of her face. Now, her face doesn't look anything like that at any other moment ever.
I don't even know if I've ever seen her face look like that.
But because she was trying to make this goofy face expression, the camera caught her in the midst of it, and it's like, that doesn't even look like my daughter. It's kind of funny how that happens.
It looks like a...
I don't know what it was. So anyway,
sure.
we were looking at stuff like that, and I need to speed them up a little bit because they're about a minute in length. They kind of draw out after a while.
Yeah, but sometimes you want to kind of.
But we saw the puppies when they were little, and we saw you after you'd rang the bell at the cancer center, and there were pictures pictures of us when you were like super, super, super sick. We had our family pictures made that day. And then it was just
actually like 2 days before I went back into the hospital for the second time. Yeah.
And
it was within 2 weeks of me starting chemo.
Yeah. So that was a bad time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to look at those.
It is hard to look at those. The one that's the hardest for me to look at is the one where you're walking down the beach. And that was right before that time. And you were so sick.
Well, and it was, I think, the only time. Well, I know a friend of ours had let us use their beach house, so we had gone, taken the kids.
Close friend of ours.
But, because I had been so sick, and that was after I'd already been in the hospital.
The first time.
Yeah. And that was actually interesting because that was one of I'd asked the Lord for two things before I had. Like, if I was going to do treatment, I wanted two things. One, a family portrait, and two, a beach trip with the kids. And literally, in the 8 weeks from the diagnosis to starting treatment, he gave me both of those things. And this was that beach trip.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was the only time during that beach trip that all of the kids stayed in the beach house and you and I went out to the beach, just the two of us.
Very stormy afternoon.
Yeah.
Which you can see it on the pictures. It's real stormy looking. It was stormy. Off the coast, but, you know.
A lot of things were stormy at that time.
Yeah, it was. I just remember that picture. I remember taking that picture. And I think I probably took, I don't know, there's probably 7 or 8 actual photographs I took at that particular moment, you know, in that moment. And I was just like, just very frankly, this might be some of the last pictures I ever get to her that she's alive. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm wanting to capture the moment, but at the same time, I'm like,
I don't want to capture.
I don't really want to see this.
Yeah.
But if I lose her, then I'm going to wish I'd taken this picture.
Yeah.
It's a very.
Oh yeah.
There's people listening that's been further than that, and so I'm not trying to make put on the Superman vest here or anything, but the Bible tells us that we shouldn't worry about tomorrow.
Right.
You have to live where you are today. And that's kind of hard to do. You know, you got 5 kids and this person you've been spending the last quarter of a century with. And anyway, not trying to get down in the mud and be all sad, but it was just a reminder of how grateful I am that God did what he said, his word said it would do.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm thankful that you yourself received it in that fashion, because some people don't. And the results are way different.
I think it's interesting too that that the picture that we looked at last night was me standing at the edge. Well, my feet were in the water. Mm-hmm. Like I'm standing at
the edge of the water.
At the edge of the ocean, you know, and with just my feet in the water. And then this morning, you know, when I woke up at 4:00, the Lord was really dealing with me about the water. It's funny that I just now for the first time related that. And how I was just talking to a friend, Lisa, who was saying, she was sharing about that song Oceans, and about him leading us into deeper water that we wouldn't choose.
Yeah. I absolutely didn't choose that.
Right.
Even the shallow water I wasn't choosing.
Right. And how once you get out so deep, you're not standing anymore. Like you're submerged, you know,
right.
Your feet are without borders, you know, and your trust in him is really stretched. And I think it's interesting that picture sort of captures that song really well, because I'm standing there literally with my feet in the ocean water, and we're getting ready to go into much deeper water through the journey than we had ever been in before. And talk about your trust level having to grow. I mean, leaps and bounds daily. You know, your trust in nothing familiar. You know, your trust that you have no idea how you're going to pay your bills. Your trust that you have no idea what these treatments are going to do or not do. Or surgery or not. Or, I mean, literal.
Yeah.
There's no preparation for any of that. It is like daily waking up and saying, okay, we just got to get through today. There is no forethought at times like that for you can't visualize 6 months.
You're not planning a vacation or trying to decide what color you're going to paint your walls.
No. It is like the deepest faith journey that we've ever had to. I don't know. We've had some pretty crazy ones.
I don't do it again.
No, but I'm saying, definitely we've had some crazy faith journeys.
Oh, yeah.
But that was wow. Talk about your feet being in deep water, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I even hate to look at those pictures just because of the gut check it gives you. Me, you know. I know people are out there, worse situations. And I guess that's why I even brought it up. Because I know they're out there in worse situations.
Right.
And not to glorify your situation. I mean, I was a guy that wouldn't take pictures of you when you were sick. Very few of those exist on purpose. I just was not going to glorify the enemy's attack. You know, I didn't need to put it on Facebook and have people cheer you on. You know, that just was not where I was going. And I wouldn't let anybody else do it either. So, but there are people out there in a lot deeper waters, a lot choppier waters, a lot greater waves, you know, harder, more harsh seas. A
lot of turmoil.
No lighthouse in any direction. You know, you can hear the water against the rocks, but you have no idea where they are. And it just, you know, I haven't been there to some extent, and over here now, you just have to extend people a certain amount of grace, because you don't know where they are.
Yeah, what they're facing.
Yeah, because I mean, I've had some issues here of late that have thankfully passed. But you know, you get to the point where you look at somebody, like you pull up beside a guy at a red light, and you're like, man, I wish I felt as good as that guy felt. And you have no idea what this guy's going through. You just automatically assume
he looks like
that everybody's healthy and happy and their bills are paid or whatever. And it's just, I remember when you were sick, I was coming home from the east side of town, and it was in the summertime. Of course, you were sick in the summer, but I don't remember if it was a holiday weekend or what, but there were trucks with campers everywhere. Like everybody was going camping. And I just thought to myself, man, what I would do for my family to be well enough to be able to just go camping. You know, we've done that in the past. We've had campers and whatever. So we've got that memory. But I was thinking, and then I got home, right? So we live on a state highway. This is it's like a country road, but you can bypass the interstate with this road in front of our house. And I remember sitting out in that afternoon out in the yard or on your swing or something, and those trucks and fifth wheels, campers, man, they were just blasting down 56. And I'm thinking, wow, those guys have no idea what I'm going through right now. And I was having a pity party is what I was doing. But that's just where I was. And how many people are there or even worse? You know, how many people when you're driving to work, how many people are sitting on their front porch saying, man, I wish they knew what I was going through. And it's a hard place to kind of talk about. It's a hard place to kind of think about because we're all so involved and invested in ourselves. But there's just, not doom and gloom here, but there's just a lot of hurt. And there has been a lot of hurt since Adam and Eve ate from the wrong tree. Yeah. You know, it's been a lot of hurt since then. And will continue to be, sadly, until Jesus returns. Now, with that said, I do believe that if we'll practically apply the word to our lives and our situation, speak the word as truth and live it as truth, we can affect some of that. But we do continue to live in a fallen world. And until it's made whole through Jesus' return and redemption, the restoration that's coming soon, we're going to have to continue. At some level, people will have to continue dealing with these things. And even then, Jesus is enough. Even then, he's already done all he needed to do. So if you're the person sitting on the porch and you're watching the campers go down the road, you're not by yourself. You may feel, I'm telling you, you probably do feel like you're the only person that's ever been there. You're the only person that's ever experienced what you're experiencing. And nobody around you either cares or knows to care.
Or understands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you believe that about every human individual around you, Jesus knows and cares.
Which is not true because he always surrounds us.
I know,
at some
but it
level
still feels that way sometimes.
I know. It does.
So you have to find hope in him. You know, and where is he? He's in his word. He is his word. The word became flesh and dwelt among them. Mm-hmm. It also went around doing good and healing all that were sick. And then commanded us to do the same and greater. So, right. I don't know, not trying to be a downer, but that was just a pretty solemn moment, a reminder of a solemn moment last night as we sat and looked through those pictures. And I'm not going to delete them, but I don't want to see them, you know. I'm not going to throw them away because there's times like this that it's an object lesson.
Yeah, and I mean...
And it's a testimony to God's goodness.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because you look at that and then you see how far we've come from that, and you do appreciate that process, and you do... one of the things I thought about today was when they were in the desert, the children of Israel were in the desert, and it's dry and barren, and then God told him to strike the rock, mm-hmm. or make the bitter water sweet by, casting the tree into the water. And you think about those times that, yes, they're hard, but then the appreciation that you have when God redeems whatever it is and mm-hmm. restores. And it does, not only does it build your faith, but it gives you an opportunity to share and encourage other people. If we had not had those hard days,
we'd still be going down the road with our camper and not even blinking.
Yeah, so it makes you, what I have noticed in myself, for months I was in a wheelchair. Well, I never see people in a wheelchair now that I don't stop and pray for them. I don't go up to them and say, "Hey, can I pray for you?" necessarily. Right. If God leads in that way, yeah, but I can't help myself, but just in my heart, I stop and say, "Lord, strengthen them." I know how hard that is, mm-hmm. And that's just a simple thing, but there's just a compassion level that grows when you see.
When you've gone down that road, you get a whole nother perspective. And it is about perspective.
For sure.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's, that was kind of deep, man.
Well, you're definitely not it's not the topic that excites you, because the last couple you've been a little more animated.
Pressure points. Passion points, they call it. This was a pressure point. Those are passion points.
Big difference there.
Yeah, it was. So I don't have a lot to be animated about in that regard. I'm supremely thankful for the healing that God provided for us all. It was a hard time, but we're here. He delivered us. And I'm very grateful for that.
Speaking of, you were talking about the equipment that you were hooking up last night.
Yeah.
Beth was telling me that you heard her say they had lightning mm-hmm. strike in their yard yesterday or Tuesday
Wednesday,
evening.
Tuesday, yeah.
She said that the kind of interesting thing is the one, their TV still works, everything still works in their house except the cable box. It zapped that, but not the TV.
Yeah.
And she said maybe God's trying to tell us something. So I was just thinking about that when you were saying we only have one TV. It's not a smart TV.
Well, that was on purpose. Anyway. Yeah. So Beth saw the power of God in her front yard.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Andy and Holly celebrated 15 years this week. Congratulations. Kathy had a baby. Congratulations. It's been kind of a busy week.
Haley launched her book.
She did.
That's another congratulations. A lot of new beginnings.
Yeah.
And this is the month of July. New beginnings. You think of the month of the 8th month. Oh, and we had puppies.
We still have a lot of puppies, yeah.
Yeah, we had 8 puppies, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
That's another new beginning.
Mm.
So, busy time.
It has been a busy time. And we might even cut this one a little short because we have a lot to do to prepare for the rest of the week. Weekend coming and next weekend going. So, guys, thank you for listening. And, just not to be downer or anything, but just to encourage you because God is everywhere doing everything. And He's using everything around you to work for His goodwill in your life. It may not feel like it sometimes. I promise you, I get it. Been there. Questioned it massively. But He is working on your behalf.
And Romans 8:28 is always true.
Absolutely. It's all true.
What the enemy meant for harm, He will use for our good.
Absolutely. So be encouraged with that. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next time.
Today's episode is brought to you by Post and Gate. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Marriage Creative. Subscribe and click the notification icon so you can stay up to date with all things The Marriage Creative. To learn more about who we are and what we do, check us out on social media or go to themarriagecreative.com today.
Man, I just think we should stop and start over.